Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I'm going to explain a movie named Evil Intent. At the beginning of the film, there's a nice nurse named Gwen. She's taking care of an elderly woman who's very sick and having trouble breathing. Surprisingly, Gwen turns off the woman's oxygen and breathing pipe, making her unable to breathe. When the doctors come to save her, Gwen stands by the door laughing, revealing that she's a disturbed nurse who enjoys seeing her patients in pain. However, the doctors manage to save the old woman. Later, we see a happy scene with a woman named Mira and her husband, and their son who has difficulty walking due to a disease. Mira hires Gwen to take care of her son despite her disturbing behavior. Gwen used to live with Mira's family as if they were one of them. They would have breakfast together, but Gwen would secretly loosen Mira's son's bench on the stairs to make her fall. Gwen did all of this just for her own amusement, just as she did at the beginning of the story. Mira's husband was getting ready for work when Gwen started to show jealousy towards Mira as she started liking Mira's husband. Mira's friend visited their home and expressed concern, suggesting that Mira should hire some nurse because her husband and son seemed to like Gwen too much. Mira defended Gwen and didn't believe that there was any issue. However, when she heard her son's voice, she realized what happened and she scolded Gwen, thinking she didn't care good enough for her son. Her son, though, said it was his own fault. Mira called a doctor and hired a new nurse for her son. Later, she apologized to Gwen for shouting at her without reason, but Gwen reassured her. She claimed that a mother worries about her child. Gwen still made tea for Mira, even though she knew Gwen's mischievous actions. Mira joined a society with people who had the same disease as her son. After crying and coming back home, Gwen gave her the tea she had made, and after drinking it, Mira fell asleep. Later, the doctor arrived, and when he was going to give the stretcher to Mira's son, Gwen stopped him and said she would handle it. On their way, the doctor recognizes Gwen, and Mira promises to tell him later where they met. That evening, Gwen goes to the doctor's house and admits that they know each other and have met before. Later, she injects him with a drug and reveals her motive for this act. She feared that the doctor might expose her involvement in killing the old woman from the beginning of the story. Later that night, Mira receives a call from a man named David, who claims that he was the same from the society of her son due to their shared disease. He mentions that his wife passed away and he had hired a nurse for his son. Mira emphasizes with him and approves for his decision. Unbeknownst to her, the man named David is actually a Gwen. She used a computer-altered voice to deceive Mira. The next day, Mira's friend visits her and realizes she had dropped something on the Mira's husband's shirt. Gwen takes the shirt from the laundry to clean it, and when Mira's friend goes inside to retrieve her purse, she sees Gwen smelling Mira's husband's shirt, raising suspicions. Mira's friend finds it strange and suspicious that Gwen might be developing feelings for her Mira's husband. However, she keeps her doubt to herself, fearing it might ruin their family. During the night, Gwen disguises her voice as David again to talk to Mira about her son. Mira shares her concerns about her son's fall, unaware that Gwen is playing a sneaky game to create doubts on her loyalty. On their way, Gwen cleverly implies to Mira's husband that Mira was talking to someone, hoping to plant a seed of doubt and grudge. However, her plan backfires when Mira's husband supports his wife, explaining her stress and sleepless nights. Gwen still tries to win over Mira's husband but fails. The next morning, Mira wakes up to find that Gwen has done all the household chores. She receives a call from her friend thanking her for the flowers on her birthday, but Mira is surprised since she didn't send them. Gwen quickly covers up the situation, claiming she sent the flowers on Mira's behalf. Mira starts feeling dizzy, and Gwen suggests taking a blood sample for testing, attempting to control the situation. Mira agrees, unaware of Gwen's ulterior motives. At night, Gwen pretends to be David again, and Mira shares her problem with her. But when her husband and son come in, Mira ends the call abruptly. She wants to take her son to the room, and he's sleeping on the sofa. Then she receives a message revealing that David is a fraud. In the morning, Mira's husband sees the message on his phone and wonders why Mira was talking to David. Mira's son also wonders why his mother is sleeping so much. Gwen takes care of all the household work, and Mira, feeling guilty, apologizes to her. However, Mira receives another message confirming that David is a fraud, and Gwen reads it too. Mira prepares herself to go to the office and meet her friend, sharing that her blood reports are fine and she just needs rest. Her friend advises her to consult a different doctor who isn't involved with Gwen. Then Mira receives an email from David stating that someone is trying to defame her. She also receives an email from a man warning her that her son's life is in danger. After reading these emails, Mira returns home. Mira was deeply worried and had confided in Gwen. She arranged to meet the man mentioned in the messages at a cafe in the evening. Mira informed him that Gwen's words about his wife cheating on him were true. The next day, Mira meets the man who introduces himself as David but denies even talking to her. He explains that his wife had blood cancer and one day someone called him advising against going to the doctor, which influenced his wife's decisions. She showed Mira a picture of the person who called him, and she realizes it's the same man who pretended to be David while talking to her. However, Mira still doesn't suspect Gwen. Outside the cafe, her husband who had followed her sees her hugging David and assumes she's actually cheating on him. Mira's friend also sees Gwen at their house and warns her to stay away from Mira's family, suspecting Gwen's feelings for Mira's husband. Gwen issues a chilling warning to Mira, threatening harm to her and her family if she interferes. Before leaving, Gwen attacks David, injecting him with a deadly drug and stealing Mira's knife, which she later uses to kill David at his house. Gwen manipulates the scene to make it look like Mira committed the crime. That night, Mira's husband, distressed by the situation of his wife, returns home intoxicated. Gwen tries to get close to him while checking his phone and pretending to be David. Mira notices the message and remembers the little boy reference David and Gwen often use. When she sees the water bottle Gwen gave her, she realizes it was poisoned. Mira discovers the book of poisonous drugs in Gwen's room and records a video detailing Gwen's actions. She contacts her husband about the situation. Gwen returns home and realizes that Mira knows the truth about her. Mira tries to stop Gwen from taking her son to therapy but fails. After Gwen and her son leave, Mira continues to gather evidence about Gwen and informs her husband about the situation. In the final events, Mira comes home without her son and Gwen heads to get him. During the ride, Gwen reveals her sinister intentions, expressing her desire to kill Mira and take her place because she is infuriated with Mira's husband. Mira's husband arrives and finds the recorded video exposing Gwen's actions and learns the truth about her. Meanwhile, Gwen tells Mira that she killed the doctor and framed her for the crime. Gwen insists that Mira's son is still at the clinic, but Mira goes to Gwen's house to look for him. Gwen plans to make it seem like Mira murdered David using the knife that Mira's fingerprints. As Mira tries to escape, Gwen catches her, but in the end, Mira's family manages to live happily together. Gwen faces the consequences of her crimes and is punished for the multiple murders she committed. The story concludes with a warning about the danger of trusting people without proper inquiry. We should always take care of things on our own behalf. Another thing we should do is to not trust people without completely inquiring about them. So guys, the movie comes to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, do consider subscribing. So that's all for today. Bye guys.